Okay, and welcome back. I think this is the fifth part, maybe the sixth part now. But what we need to do to write our first test program is actually create the header file. So we need to a file with all the prototypes in that our programs can, copy in and use. So let's do that first. Very first thing I'm going to do is create a new member inside of my QRPGLE ref. I've just noticed, nope, that's good. Cancel. I'm going to go ahead and create this in my QRPGLE ref here. This is going to be called Punk API .rpgle underscore h. Okay, now it takes a second to load. I don't know why it's so slow today, but that's okay. Not stopping me. And really, this is actually a fairly simple one. So of course, we'll start with star free. Always need to be doing the free. And the reason I use the name in the PI is so I can just copy this, paste it in, add ext proc, and then change PI to PR. That's the reason I do it. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and do that very quickly for the other ones as well. So that, of course, we have beers count. And we have beers element at. And we have beers string at. So this is just what we're going to test with. Now, of course, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. I know, why does it do that? I need to, so when you create a new file in iEditor, it doesn't know how many tabs you like, and the default is 4. So I'm just going to reopen it, and then it usually defaults to 2 after that, I believe. So I'm going to just refresh it here. What's going on with this system today? It's very sad. There we go. So, okay, if I do this and then save it, and then close it, and then reopen it up, then it knows that it's 4. It knows that it's 2, sorry. There we go. That's better. So this is the easiest part, of course, and of course we just need to just do those and then do those, and of course we need to add ext proc, save. That's it. That's all the work there is to it, and I love that. So we can save that now, and we can actually write our first program to call the API. So let's go ahead and create a new member, and let's just call it example1.rpgle. Oh, I love this. Let's go ahead, star free. And the very first thing, of course, is we need a cheeky control option. And we're going to say binding directory is going to be punk API. And we're going to do DFT, default activation group, star no. Now, of course, what you just saw there was me use camel case and then none. So I'm going to rewrite that. Bad practice on my end. So that's the very first thing there is to it. Now, of course, the next important thing is that you bring in the copybook. So again, QRPGLE ref, and then it's going to be Punk API. So now we have access to our own APIs, which is awesome. It's really awesome. Very first thing, I'm going to declare a pointer, and I'm going to call it data. And we need to know how to use our APIs. So the very first one we're going to call is get. Fairly simple, but of course it's going to be data equals biz get, and we pass in a few things. First one, I'm going to pass an empty parameter because I don't want to call and search for any specific biz. I think paging starts from 0 on this API, so let's do let's keep per page, but let's change the let's say page equals 0 and okay, page must be greater than 0. Okay, so we start on page 1 and we get 10 results per page. So let's just say page 1, and let's just get 5 results. This is a big struct. So in fact, I may open it in incognito and just see how big it is. That's a lot of data there. If I open it up in Notepad here, paste it in, let's see how big this is. This is 18,000, and our data structure is only our variable is only 16,000. So of course we can make it bigger, but I'll just stick with 5 for now, and that's 8,000. So 5 is fine. We can make it bigger later. So no search, page 1, and 5 beers. Nice and simple, right? Now I'm also going to create an index. So let's say index is going to be int 5, and then we can say index equals beers count, and then we pass in our data. Okay, and then we're going to say, oh, let's rename this to count actually, And then let's create yet another variable called index and call it and give that an int5. So then we can do this for index equals 1 to count, right? End 4. Now what's interesting is that the element at API actually takes the index starting from 0 because this is JSON, this is an RPG. So when we get an element, let's make another pointer here, call it current beer. We're going to say current beer equals beers dot maybe element at is not right. We could say beer at, but we'll keep with beers element at for now, and then we'll pass in our data and then the index. But of course it's 0 index, so we'll do index -1. And then we can use the string at function to get a property. So let's start fairly simple. Let's start with the name, our favorite piece. So what we'll do is we'll make a variable called name. And let's say, what should we say? Let's make it a very length character, and how big are our names? That's not too big. The names are quite short. Buzz, Trashy Blonde. Oh, that's a long name. So we'll have to make it bigger than 32. Let's make it 64 to be extra safe. No, let's make it 52 so we can fit it on a display. So we'll say name equals beer. I think it's beer's element string at, isn't it? Or am I going here? We just go over to the Punk API. Beer's string at. That's our API. And then we pass in our current beer and then the property that we want. In this case, name. And then for the sake of it, we're going to do display name. Now, actually, there is another API that we need to write, but we'll do it later. But of course, something that's important is that data is allocated memory because it comes from the beer get. So we need the beers get. We need to probably write something like beers close as well, which will deallocate that memory in the end. But let's go ahead and try and compile this bound program. Okay, have a little error. Oh, cannot determine how to end. That was silly. Let's just do a return right there. Very simple. And let's compile that. Okay, so that's a binding issue. Okay, no problem. Library list, Punk API. Where's my binding directory? It's there. Oh, my session disconnected again. That's a shame. Oh, you know why? Because we haven't work bind directory entry. We actually haven't added Punk API to its own binding directory. So punk API star serve pugum punk API star imed. Very good. Now, because now we've corrected that, we should be able to compile. And it did. It compiled very quickly. I love that. Let's do a work obj punk API slash start all. And of course, we have example 1 there. So let's go ahead and try and debug that. Add libel punk API. Call example 1. Oh, of course, we didn't actually see anything. We didn't actually debug it. Oh, it actually worked. Wow. First time. That's excellent. That worked. First time. I love that. So let's just go and look at our data here from the API itself. So let's close all these. Oh, okay, so I've got 10. I changed it to 5 just so we got the same set of data here. Let's bring up this. So the very first one is Buzz. That's excellent. The very second one we got is Trashy Blonde. And then we have Berliner Wise. I think that would be Wise, and I don't know. My German isn't, or I'm not sure. But with Yuzu B-sides, if we look, this is looking great. Pilsner, very good. Avery Brown Dredge. That's excellent. That's really super. I'm really happy about that, actually. That's awesome. So that's really the very first example program that we needed to write, and I am very happy about that, actually. That's really cool. So in the next video, we're going to just do a little bit of cleaning up. We're going to add the beers close, and I think we might start working on some of our other APIs, some of the nicer ones to make the functionality easy for the user, which is awesome. So thank you very much for watching.